Okay, so right now I'm just sitting here copying over some files using Rufus, if the camera could focus, and thank you. So I'm going to be making a USB stick of Windows Server 2008 Release 2. This is also Service Pack 1, so basically this is very similar in looks and performance to Windows 7 while retaining Windows Vista compatibility, as far as I know. So it's a mix between both worlds, if you want to put it that way. So right now I got this 8 gig USB stick, which has no cover on it anymore, which is my fastest USB stick that I own so far. I do have another one, where is it? I don't remember where it is. But yeah, it's like one of those no-name sticks, and yeah, it's not much faster than this, so whatever. So yeah, just waiting on that to finish here. Oh, done. Alright, we're good to go. Alright, so now I'll unplug my USB stick here from my laptop, and we'll walk over to the computer, which it's going to be installed on, which no longer has a floppy drive in it because I'm not going to be using it. Anyway, here we got a basic computer here. Do a Windows key pause. It's currently running Windows 7 Home Premium Service Pack 1. There you can see that missing floppy drive there for a 40 gig serial ATA hard drive used for booting. It's got a Celeron 3.06, 1.5 gigs of RAM, and an ATI Radeon HD 3450, which I'm thinking about taking out for this specific application. Anyway, we're going to go and restart this computer here. Go ahead and I'll also stick in the USB stick. There we go. Doggone flickering on the monitor. I think you got the camera on. Oh, there we go. Kind of fixed it there for a moment. It's supposed to be a 60 hertz monitor. I think the camera runs at 75, but there's a hertz mismatch. I don't even know. Like, I care at the moment. I'm not really doing anything specific. Kind of hear that fan on the video card. Now I need to go into the setup here real quickly, and I need to verify something. So just give me one moment. It's really unusual not hearing the floppy drive seek on boot up. Usually I would, because I would have that turned on. So anyway. So I have that 320 gig serial ATA drive, which was being used for Windows 7, set there as the SATA 4 master, which is what it was starting up on. But I need to go ahead and no, that's not the right serial ATA port. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. It's not that one either. Well, gee whiz, where's the hard drive at? Yeah, I can't tell, and I'm not about to go in and try to fill in all that stuff. I'm not about to try that. Anyway, let me go see if I can go see if I got that other drive working here. And I guess while we're waiting, you can take a look on the inside of this redneck server, I should say. I have this 120mm fan aimed up against the video card to kind of lift some air around the case, plugged into a system fan header. CPU fans in there, also 120mm, which sucks air through the front of the case and out the back, which is BTX style. Also plugs into the fan header there on the motherboard, which I don't use because when I plug this fan into the CPU header, it goes absolutely crazy whenever you do anything on the system. So something's wrong with the thermal monitoring on that particular port, so I can't use it. So moving on, we're going to unplug this main 320 gig serial ATA drive. Then we'll take it out of the toolless caddy. It's a Western Digital Caviar SE. one of the first serial ATA drives. I think that came out by 2005 or something. I don't know. Next thing we need to do is we need to take off the faceplate of the computer, which means you come down in here, you push that tab upward. If the camera would focus, turn on the light here, make it a little bit easier for it to focus. So I think you just push upward on this tab at the front after you, this is going to take two hands, I knew it.
Just be sure.
Okay. Now I got that off. Lean that up against the case. You can see the stickers for the Celeron D and the Windows XP sticker. And now, what we do, before we do anything else, we need to come up here, unplug the Molex that goes into the optical drive, and then we can remove it from the also toolless caddy. And also this camera's battery is going dead, so because it doesn't work anymore. Piece of crap. Anyway, there's the hard drive right there, which I knew the power adapter was unplugged from, so give me a moment and I'll sort this out while I let the camera charge up. Okay, this was quite a bit of a process. So what I ended up doing was I swapped out the storage drive for the boot drive, which would be in this caddy here. And then I just put the storage drive right there in that 3.5 bay, right under the optical drive. But it was a pain in the neck to get the serial power down to the hard drive. And what I ended up having to do was literally wedge the hard drive in farther than it should be to reach the stupid serial ATA power way down in there. It was a pain in the butt, but I got it, and hopefully it's going to stay, and hopefully it's going to work. So now I guess I can go and put back on the front panel, which is just a simple matter of putting that top tab down and snapping the rest of it in, which is easy. And then this process is going to take two hands to get the side panel back on, but no big worry. Now I can just move this wire out of the way and put it up here, that way it's not in the way of that big old fan. And I'm hoping that everything can cram together in this extremely tight case. Like, it's extremely tight. And then maybe we can get to installing Windows Server 2008 Release 2 Service Pack 1. I'm going to do the Datacenter edition when that menu comes up in the thing, so I'm not going to do like the standard or web server. I'm going to do the Datacenter because I don't want to store stuff on that serial ATA drive in there, so that way I can have a basic 320 gig file server for random odds and ends for storing files. And hopefully without the use of a floppy drive. This was actually the original floppy cable that came in this computer, because this computer originally came with a floppy drive as a standard option. They also had models where they had dual gigabit LAN on the back, including DVI ports, and I think they even had DVD burners as standard, which this one did not have, and also FireWire 400 ports on the front. And they also had options for Pentium 4s and Pentium D systems, and they also had support, I believe, up to 4 gigs of RAM, but this is the basic model, which only supports up to 2 gigs. Although that's probably just a limitation of the motherboard on all models, which is kind of a shame, but, you know, whatever. So basically, this ought to be perfect for a basic Windows Server 2008 or 2 Service Pack 1 server. In case anyone's wondering, the power supply is a 300 watt, so it's good enough to run all this stuff. And I might just, like I said, pull out that ATI Radeon card, because I don't think Windows Server 2008 supports it, but we'll see when the installation time comes around. So anyway, let me cram everything back together here, and we'll fire it up again, hoping that everything's going to work. Fingers crossed. It was actually easier than I thought. The hard drive bracket just stayed right in, so plug in the USB stick for boot the computer up, and with this DMS59 thing. Oh, I already got a protector on it, so I need to put a VGA protector on it. Okay, I think we're all set for takeoff. Let's do this thing. Alright, now I just need to make sure that that second hard drive detected and that the power plug stayed in place, because otherwise I'll have to do this all over again and that's gonna suck. Yeah, looks like it unplugged itself, dang it. Dang it. Dang it, gotta do this all over again. But I guess before we can do that, let's go ahead and install Windows Server to the hard drive. And we'll try this again. Because all I really care about right now is getting Windows Server 2008 installed to the hard drive. So I don't know if this USB stick's going to be bootable or not, or if I'm going to have to install Windows Vista to the hard drive first before I do anything else. So let's ensure this USB stick's inside the computer. I don't know why it won't detect. Maybe it just needs a refresher course there or something. I don't know. That's where I have the worst luck with this system sometimes. Let's try this again. This camera's got the worst autofocus mechanism in it ever. Ah, there we are. Aha! I got it. Press any key to boot from USB. So that should be all I have to do to get this thing to work. Although it's going to take a little bit because this is the 64-bit Windows Server 2008 license, and I really wanted a 32-bit, but oh well, you can't win them all. So I hope it's going to be comfortable running on 1.5 gigs of RAM, because the minimum requirement is 2 gigs of RAM. It should install and run okay. The Celeron in there is 64-bit capable, so just hoping that everything's going to work out okay during the install process. I do know that better fix this power before it comes out loose. But basically, I'm hoping that basically the Windows stuff's going to be okay, because usually Windows 7 runs fine on 64-bit with the 1.5 gigs of RAM and a Celeron on it. So I just hope that this is going to run okay. It's running a lot slower than if it were off of a DVD disc, but I'm certain that's just the boot up process and that it's just expanding the stuff onto the USB stick, and that way it doesn't have to increase the file storage later. So once again, fingers crossed for this. There you can see the Windows 7 portion of the installer there with the Windows 7 startup logo and everything. However, I believe later in the installation it's going to show the Windows Vista startup screen. So anyway, everything looking familiar to Windows 7 so far. As a matter of fact, very familiar to Windows 7. Anyway, this is whoop, just dropped that disk on the floor. How lovely. Okay, so we just got all this. Alright, Windows Server 2008 R2. So this is basically more like Windows 7 or Windows Vista. So okay, let's just hope everything's going to work out okay. There's no floppy disk drive, so it doesn't have to do a seek of the thing. I think it's going to pick up the controller anyway, but I can't use it, so. Okay. Datacenter is right there, so I'll just run Datacenter. And we're not running in an Itanium-based system, so we don't have to do anything like that. And we'll just come in here and delete whatever is on that drive, which is not recognizable. Delete that, make a new partition, and plug in the camera once again, because it doesn't want to hold a charge today. So anyway, now you can start installing that off the USB. How convenient with Rufus. Best program utility ever. Gotta love it. There it goes. Oh yeah, I can hear that USB stick going nuts in there. Alright, it's on its first automatic reboot on the installation process. And as you can see, there's the Windows Vista portion of the operating system. The installer is heavily based off of Windows 7, but the main operating system carries traits over from Windows Vista that weren't completely transitioned over to Windows 7. but as you'll see, the interface relates a lot to Windows 7. Basically, like the taskbar and the start menu and the desktop icons and things like that. So you'll see what I mean when we get into the operating system. But for the moment right now, it's just sitting there starting up off that 40 gigabyte hard drive. And I think it loaded the video driver for that ATI card. Yeah. See, this part would be in the Windows 7 startup on its first automatic reboot. So that's how you know it's based off of Windows 7 in a way. Anyway, setup will now continue. Another trait of Windows Vista, the opaque text. There's no shadows behind those texts. So anyway, now we're completing, which would be installing the drivers. And hopefully I don't have to go get any drivers for anything, because it should be all integrated. So, hoping for the best. Setup should be completed now, and I don't think I need to use the USB stick anymore, so just starting up here. I really wish it was the Windows 7 based core, not the Windows Vista based core. Although I could have used the Datacenter Core Edition, but I didn't choose that, so this ought to work just fine. I mean, if I want to, and if I don't like the features of this particular distribution, I can always go back to Datacenter Core or some other version of Server 2008. So, just waiting here on the first boot of the operating system. Hear the hard drive going crazy in there. It's actually surprisingly quiet for what it is. I mean, it's an insanely quiet drive for being a 40 gigabyte. It actually came originally with this computer because, like many business grade computers, a 40 gigabyte drive was more than enough for running a business and a business computer, because many of the things like what is it? The point of sale system programs, basically, stuff like that, they were all accessed over the network. So basically, these things, they only had the basic Windows professional startup files. They had some professional or something like that business-oriented version of Windows installed on it. This one, in this case, had Windows XP Professional on it. But yeah, basically, it would have had Windows on the hard drive, some basic program files, and that was your lot. And everything else was pretty much accessed over the network, because these things had onboard gigabit LAN. And in the case of this one had the low-end onboard video, which was the ATI Radeon Express 200, which was the lowest end, and pretty much only worked with Windows XP, because anything like Windows Vista and higher, yeah, it didn't really work out. So that's why I have that DMS 59 add-in card there of the ATI Radeon HD 3450, because of the fact that the onboard video doesn't work with anything newer than Windows XP properly anyway. Vista does okay with it, but anything above Windows XP just breaks down and it just doesn't work. So this card right here is compatible up to and including Windows 8. So it means I can do quite a bit of expansion if I so choose to. This thing's still starting up. So I'll give it a moment here where I have to plug in the camera yet a third time, because this thing has a piece of crap battery in it. My stupid Sony Bloggy, because I'm too lazy to use my Nikon. And we'll continue on afterwards. Alrighty, and that completed not long after I stopped the video, and saying the user's password must be changed before logging on the first time, which I can understand. Okay, so you can go and take out this USB stick. Don't need that anymore. Okay, what kind of password do I want to set? I think we'll just do a typical. Just do a typical 10-digit password and let that change. And then it should go ahead. Log me in. There we go. Now it's logging me in. Okay, so far, just got the remote management feature turned on in Windows Server. I just got the sound service turned on, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on some new Windows features so I can give this a try. And so far it is not recognizing any MP3 files, so it doesn't recognize any audio files, but the sound does work. The sound driver is just using the generic Windows driver, and I got it plugged into earphones, and it works fine. The sound works perfectly. If I go ahead and I'll put an earphone here onto the microphones, and you can go ahead and listen to it when I press Windows key L to lock the system. If I can get them on there, that is. See if I can. There we go. Oh great, gotta do the Control-Alt-Delete. Got it. I'm typing my administrator password. So the sound does work, albeit in a limited function, and no ability to play audio files, but it does appear to work, and everything. I'm just going to go see if I can actually turn on some of the features in Windows Server to allow audio playback through Windows Media Player, because if not, I'm going to have to go get iTunes and install it in Windows Vista mode, and that's not going to be fun, because like I said, I want to be able to play back my audio files on the server that when I put them on the storage drive, when I get that connected and installed. So not being able to play audio files means I won't be able to know which is which, and I would have to copy them all over to my laptop there, and I don't want to do that because that's a tedious process in itself. But anyway, let's go and go take a look here at the system properties. As you can see, we are running Windows Server 2008 R2 Datacenter Service Pack 1, which is basically a Windows 7 operating system. It's basically Windows 7 Professional and Windows Vista Business combined together, as far as I know, to make this sort of an operating system, because it's from 2009, which would tell me it's got Windows 7 and inside of its core also. And I do have it activated, so no big deal. Not much else. There's no Windows Experience Index, but if I were to run that, it would get a 3.9 out of 7.9, so that's because of the CPU. And we're going to go ahead and the processor does support DEP, which is nice, so will allow for best performance of background services. That is correct. And we don't want it to automatically restart. Actually, do a complete memory dump. We definitely want to write an event to the system log because I want to know what's going on. Automatically restart. Yep, go ahead. Yeah, I know. User profiles. I did set up a guest account in case anyone were to use this computer for any reason whatsoever. We only want to use connections from computers running remote desktop with network level authentication. You choose to enable a remote desktop connection for all network connections on this computer. To enable it for selected network connections, yeah, go ahead, whatever. That's probably going to require a restart too, but yeah, like I thought, it's going to require a restart, but I'll restart in a moment. So all in all, it's working fine. I do need to configure it for the network so I can get files copied over to it once I get the storage drive working. But all in all, it's working fine. Command prompt works. It's version 6.1, and I can just type in WinVer, and there you go. So it's basically just Windows 7 with a server tools and some backwards compatibility with Windows Vista. So that's really all this is. So yeah. So I got the AMD driver downloading and installing for that video card in there, and I'm going to install that in Windows 7 mode, hopefully. That will install just fine without having to, so I can enable that, and then I can have better video compatibility with Windows Server, so that way it's not running on this basic Windows bull crap, which isn't really that great. So log back in here. So that's the whole thing. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Okay, so I got Windows Update running here on this Windows Server 2008, and yep, that's going. look what I did. I got Arrow running. It was a pain in the ass to do, but I got it going. And check it out. You would probably not want to do this on a server, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm just that kind of a redneck. So I got that going. I got some updates running in the background here, so I'll go ahead and let those run. And yeah, it's full Windows Arrow. Everything's running as it should. I got the Windows 7 theme. Apparently, it's what they call it. They call it the Windows 7 theme. So when I go into the appearance panel, that's what you see is Windows 7. But as you see, the background, there's only one, and that is the Windows Server background. So I might just put on some extra backgrounds in the future, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not really going to be using the server a whole heck of a lot. Mainly, I'm going to be leaving the monitor off, and then just let it run like it is. Speaking of which, I need to install the laser printer, so I might want to do that real quickly. Might want to turn that on and install it. So any second now it should show up. Yep, there it goes. And then it should tell me that there's a specific driver for Windows 7 that I need to run. And I did get the AMD Catalyst software to run. It ran just fine, so I did not have to touch a button. Windows PowerShell runs as it should. Yeah, like I thought, it's going to tell me that it did not install successfully because the driver is just not there. So as you can see, it doesn't have it in stock. So I'm going to go ahead and change that setting to do that automatically to find it on Windows Update. And so, yeah, I think I got my storage drive installed correctly in that slot up there. I ended up having to push it back farther to make it reach the SATA port. And now, as you, whoops, dang it, get out of my way, control panel. But as you'll see, whenever this control panel window gets out of the way here, I did, in theory, get the drive to detect and install in Windows, so I'm going to format that as NTFS, and I'm going to set this up to be a file server, hopefully, which would retain, there we go, and you can see local disk E, and that's what's got Windows 7 Home Premium 64 on it, which was what I was running on the system originally. But I'm not running that right now. I'm running Windows Server, so I can format this if I so choose. So I can just go right here to local disk, and whenever Windows Server catches up here from its updates. Oh yeah, that's right. Windows Server 2008 has the built-in encryption thing that comes with Windows Vista Ultimate and Windows 7 Ultimate. That's the built-in encryption system which you can use. I'll probably set that up after I get this hard drive formatted and run a backup. So that'll be nice, and then I can set this up to run on the network, and that would be fabulous. Excuse me, I need to go and set this up for storage. And we'll just run a quick format for now, just to get all the stuff off the drive. And yes, both hard drives work together on one LED, so just to figure to let you know. So everything's working as it should on the laser printer side of things, so format's complete, we're all set. Alright. And that should be blank, yes it is. Alright. Content from the website listed below is being blocked by Internet Explorer Enhanced Security Configuration. Yes, add that, I guess. Add it to the thing. Yeah, it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, I finally have it set up to where I can now share all my files over to the storage drive, which is sitting in the bay up there. I can finally now do that. What I ended up having to do, and this was actually a stupid thing, it was easier than I thought. Basically what I ended up having to do was when I'm at the computer window, you can see the storage drive right there. Right clicked on it, went to properties, went over here to sharing, no, it was under security, and went to edit, And there's the permissions. So basically everyone has full control to read and write, everything's read and write, at least to a certain degree with people who have the thing set up to their system. So now, cover that up here, I can now finally send files to and from the server. So basically we're going to go ahead and send over this video file called 6 Final Render. Just drag and drop. And while the speeds aren't very impressive, actually, matter of fact, they're not really breaking any speed records right now, that's for sure. I don't know why this camera's having a big issue trying to focus into the screen here. But yeah, while the speeds are not impressive, it does do the job. And over here, you can probably tell there's the video file. Now I can't play it at the moment because it's not copied over, but it is sending. So I'm going to go back over here and cancel that because I don't want it on the file server just quite yet. So cancel that. Then you can see it access way over there. So it's working. Now it's working. So now I can access all the files on this drive without any issues. So I can copy over things like I can make a new folder called Documents if I so chose to, which I need to. And it just created the folder. I heard it create. So now I can just drag over, like, for say memtest86, and there it just wrote to the disk. I can copy over Windows 98's plus 98. And as you can see, that's transferring now. It's slowly transferring files over. So I'm going to do that. Although I might just do a thing in Windows, I might just do a backup. So that way that works. But I can then access all the stuff here in Windows. So as you can see, there's those zip archives I'm copying over. So it is functional. It is working. I don't have to touch anything now. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the final touches on there. I'm going to put on an antivirus just to be sure that any viruses that do come in get blocked. And I'm also going to go ahead, make sure everything's locked down, and set an admin password, which I've already done, but I'll make sure I get a much more secure one than what I have now. And this thing will be set for file server purposes. And there it goes. Now that's finished, and now it's writing the changes to the disk. So now we got plus 98 on the file server. So that's great. Now it works, and I just got a Skype message. So yep, there's more updates that need to be done, as it tells me there. I do need to go in and I need to change the Windows Update settings, so I need to go change those right now, so that way it does not automatically install updates, because I don't want it to do that, which would slow down the server. So what I want it to do is I'm going to have it download the updates, but I'm going to let it. I'm going to choose when to install them. That's what I needed to do. So I'm just going to go and come into here. I'm going to pin Windows Update to the Start menu. If I can. I don't know if I can. I think those are fixed options. Let's see if I can go in here, pin that to the Start menu. I don't know. Well, I'll send a shortcut to the desktop. And then we got the maintenance stuff in there, whatever. So I can just double click on that and it opens right up. Looks like we got 33 more updates, including Internet Explorer 11 for Windows Server 2008. So I'll just go ahead and let those all download and install. And then from my laptop, which I will also link over to this temporarily, and then I'll delete it, I'll copy over some files and get it all finished up, and then I'll have a working Windows Server 2008 R2 Datacenter server. So there you go. That is the last clip for this video, I do promise that, so yeah. Anyway guys, that's it for now. I hope to make more videos in the future. Maybe make some updates on the file server as I go through, but mainly right now is the temporary location for the server. It might just stay here, but I think I might just put it in another location to where I don't have to touch it, and it'll still run and I can continue to access it. So that's it for now, guys. Until then.